Today we're going to be looking at the difference between Football Manager Console and Football Manager PC. So I've got both versions of the game loaded up. You can see here and you can see here. PC Console, both loaded at once. Hopefully it doesn't destroy my computer and we can record this. But let's have a look and see what the main differences are. I did this video for FM24. Now, the advantage with FM26 is both are dealing with roughly the same UI. So if I record on the PC, we're going to have this very similar UI to what we get on the console version. In fact, the same UI. So it doesn't matter that I'm playing the PC version, the console version on PC this time, whereas in previous years it would give us the PC skin and people would get slightly confused by it. So this I'm showing right here is the console version. When you see my name up in the top here, this is the console version. So this is my manager here. Everything here is roughly the same. There's not too much different, just slightly different layout. But and you can see obviously because I've taken a club on the PC one, that's already showing me in the changing room there. On console at the bottom there, and this is the first one we're going to look at, is the store. Now someone did point out to me, okay, these are microtransactions. Some of them are repeatable, some of them, so these ones are consumable, these ones aren't. All of these are cheats, okay? Now, someone did say that the only way to rest your team on console is to use this cheat. So we're going to test that. I'm going to see if I can rest my team and see if that's true or not, because that would then make this actually a microtransaction and not just, a cheat that's there to this is like basically the the reset one that you get from the in-game editor. So these are all basically in-game editor ones. Those ones at the end you can actually unlock. So that is the first difference between the two. That is there on the console. On the PC you can of course get the in-game editor. So everything else here is pretty much the same. Obviously if you're online on console you have to play online with other players. In the accessibility there are a few less options, although if you go into detailed you'll see that there's not quite as many options here at the minute, so it doesn't have all like the options for selecting, what color ranges you want and things like that. So at the minute, there's a fewer options in the console version, but hopefully they bring that up to date with the PC one, because the PC ones have been added in the last few days. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start a career on both of these at the same team, and we'll watch and we'll go through the differences between the two. So let's start with start a new career. This is going to be on the console one. We'll do it at as advanced setup just so you can see everything. And at the same time, I'm going to get the PC one going as well, if I don't press load my save game. So here we are. Now you can see here at the top of the console one, you have a maximum number of slots, and it is 10. Okay, the touch version will be very similar. I think it's 5 maybe on the touch version, but you have 10 slots. If you add the women's league, it also adds a slot, but you can actually add any number of divisions. You can go all the way down to the bottom division. That still only takes up 1 slot. So you have up to 10 slots. So it's actually quite a few. You might want to remove, like if you're not playing women's football, you might want to remove it. These are the new nations as well. Now there should be the same number of leagues, but I did see somewhere that there weren't quite. So we're going to have a quick look at that and check that all the same ones are there. So this is the PC version of that screen. It switches between men and women's football. So it is a slightly different look. A few extra players at the bottom there. I'll tell you what we're going to reduce it down to just England so we can see. We're going to put it on National League North, South and above. You can see we get transfer mode over here. This is the PC version. Game start date. Got advanced settings and preferences that we can check out in a minute. On the console version, just over here, if we come back to this, we've got transfer mode, we've got the dates, we've got advanced settings and preferences. So just a slightly different layout. To be honest, I think I don't know why they haven't gone for this look on the PC, because it's actually much cleaner in my opinion. Why not have that there? This is 15,000 players. Now I will need to check the load in the advanced settings of how many players we're getting in. I don't know if we can even set that on here. So all those are the same. The advanced settings are first transfer, window activity, and player attribute masking. On console, on PC, you actually have a few more options there. So you can see we get all these extra options here. On PC, of course, you can also load up custom databases, which were one of the things you can't do on console. And your database size at the bottom here, small, medium, large, or custom, and you can add or take away various continents. On the console version, you don't have that option. So you've just got to go with the number of players that it gives you. It will still give you the speed, but you don't get to add in extra nations for bringing in. Right, let's have a look and see if all these leagues are the same. So there should be the same number of leagues. If there are leagues that are missing, it will be like the lower leagues somewhere, but I'm pretty sure the number of leagues is the same. So we're going to go ahead and choose National League North South. on both versions. We'll just do that. We'll keep it as playable. We're not going to add in any of the other extras for now. Kind of interesting that a medium-sized database on the regular one is actually smaller than on the console version. You know, we only get 14,000 here and it's 15,000 on the console. So we are now going to choose our team on the console, and this is going to be almost the same on the PC version. So you'll see the difference between the two is minuscule, although weirdly the kits are changing. One of them has old kits and one of them has new kits. That might be my fault for loading in custom kits. I think on the PC version, I think I've got some old kits on the PC version. Let's have a look. Yeah, I've loaded in old kits, so I need to go out and change those out. But on the console version, you will see there are the newer kits. You will also notice that the board culture and supporter culture is slightly different between the two versions if we look at Bournemouth here, which is interesting. So we're going to choose Bournemouth for both and go on to the manager profile screen. Now, I will show you this because this is going to be slightly different. If we create a new manager profile on the console version here, and we'll just choose anyone. We'll choose the first guy, confirm, we'll give him a name, testy test. Let's call him test. Okay, we'll go to the next screen. We choose the place of birth. Oh, he can be from Armenia, it's okay, or Argentina. Here we go, and he can be Anguian. So we get to choose here his credentials in his playing career, domestic champion, and if he's worked in a non-playing role, medical, let's say that, recognized in no nation. And that's it. That then sets these like very generic attributes across here, across our manager. If we do the same on the PC version, we create a new manager profile. We start with the first guy. We give him the name, test, place of birth. He can be from, oh, it is a bit fiddly. It has a few extra places of birth on there. There weren't that many on the console version. And he's going to be a Ruben this time. Domestic champion. We said, I can't remember if we said medical, recognized in no nation. But then we get this new one. So badges are only in the PC version here. So we can say he's got a Continental Pro. And we say his coaching style as well. So there is something like this on console, but it doesn't come at this stage. So we don't get the coaching style or the personality here. So both those things we're going to add. We're going to start the game with both of these. So you can see in both versions we have now been appointed, and it looks very, very similar right now. So now we are onto the inbox. We're starting to see maybe some of the differences. So if I show you, this is the PC one showing right now. This is the console. You will see the inbox is much wider. There's fewer tiles on the right hand side, so it doesn't quite show you as much. You just get the calendar, the fixture list, and the next opponent, whereas on this version you get the league table as well. And there's a lot more dead space on the console version. Up the top, you will also see there are less options. So on the PC version, we get a few extra options in the option for the news site, the stages, opposition report. So on the console version, we've got overview, messages, calendar, opposition report, news site, stages. And on PC, we have got overview calendar. So we've got the calendar there, the fixture schedule as well, and that's all of them. Yeah. So there are some extra ones there on the PC. You also see we had a lot more messages as we came in on the PC version. You'll note on the console version, for example, we don't have an email on FFP. So there's no FFP here in the console version. So on console, on the first day, the things we've got to take care of are club vision, responsibilities, and the squad introduction. On PC, though, we have the expectations meeting, which we'll go ahead and accept. We've got the tactics introduction, we've got the responsibilities introduction, and we've got the squad introduction. We've got and some preseason stuff and squad selection rules, which is another thing that's not going to be in the console version. And it wants us to set up our tactic right here on the PC version. So we will do Gegenpress. We'll just select some tactic for now. Doesn't matter too much because this should be all the same. The difference is the console version hasn't asked me to do it. And the reason why is because the console version wants me to do this first, which is my philosophy. So I have to set a philosophy. And this is sort of replaced the bit that we saw on the PC. We select 3 of these, we confirm. And this is a philosophy that our players have to buy into. And then when I come back now, we should have a new update with the tactics. We have training as well. So let's start with training. So you can see we've got this dynamics here, resilience, intelligence, expressionism. This is the dynamics that we've got in the console version only. It's just telling me about them. But really, you want your players to match up to that. So if I go into my squad, we go to squad dynamics, you'll notice this. You'll see the buy-in on my players. So Ben Doak is already buying in to my mentality, whereas someone like Adam Smith is really struggling, reserving judgment. And you can click on these, you can see the squad mindset, there's 4 different archetypes of players. So we've got thinkers, hard workers, relaxed, and I forgot the last one, leaders. Leaders is the last one. We have all of those in the team, so we have a couple of leaders. Overall, it's balanced because they're all fairly roughly the same. But you get bonuses for the one you have in the majority, and you also get bonuses for balance. If you get a really good balance, you get a really good bonus, and it's going to help the team. So, that's sort of like a little mini thing that you can play out, a little more gamification, I suppose, in the console version. Though I think it's interesting. I think they could put something similar into the PC, and you'll see their movement over the last few days as well. You can go in and you can change your principles if you like as well. We've got the hierarchy here as well that's going to matter, and this is also going to present like certain events that happen in the game, which you're going to have to make a decision, which don't happen on the PC version. So the PC version, by comparison, if we go into the squad dynamics, is just this. Okay, so the PC version is actually less. We have social groups here that the players are in, but there's no buy-in or anything like that in the PC version. So every time, not everything in the console version is less. Sometimes the PC version is less. But you will notice things like under 21s, under 18s. Training, for example, we go into training, you can go in and it's a bit of a pain at the minute, but you can go in and edit your training schedule. You can change what they're training. Whereas if we try to do that on console, we go into training and we just set a general training for the whole group. And we can change the main sets. We can change who's in each group. Right now it's with my backroom staff, so I can't edit it, so it won't let me edit it right now. But at some point it will let me edit that, and we can change it. But you can see here, this is a very different screen on the squad screen to the one we get on PC, which has all of these other things here. The interesting thing is I haven't actually done the tactics yet for the console version, but it has given me a 4-3-3 gegenpress, the same as we put on the other team. Gegenpresses aren't overpowered this year. Well, I haven't noticed it yet. But yeah, you can see the tactics screen is a little bit different, it's a little bit closer, a bit more designed for large screen TVs, but you can still make, I believe, all the same options from the PC version are here. It's a little more tricky to find all the options, but they should all be there. You're going to have to go through each zone, and whether you go in possession and out of possession as well. But you can get all the same things as you can on PC on this. It's just slightly different looking. Now on PC, I'm also asked to set code of conduct. That is something that is not on console, and we have a homegrown status and things like that. So these are all little things that aren't on console. For example, player registration as well. We don't have to register players for the league. That is not on console. The recruitment is a little bit different as well. So let's go have a look at the recruitment. So right now we're looking at PC, and if I switch across to the console version, you'll see there's a few less options for what we have on the PC version. Now the major difference, and one that a lot of people have been a bit annoyed by, is on the PC you have this squad planner, and you can come in and you can see what your squad is like. On console, you have just the squad depth screen, which is this: goalkeeper lacking, defense good, midfield good, striker good, which doesn't really help. Isn't really a squad planner, I would say. The other thing that is missing from console is the clauses down here. You won't find those on console, or at least I've not managed to find them. And also the staff database, because you won't be hiring staff in on console. And that's actually one of the other key differences. So if we go to staff on the PC version, and we can see what staff we have. In fact, we can go to the club screen, have a look at the staff, have a look at the club staff, and you'll see we've got all these options for who we can hire. We can place adverts, we can go back to the recruitment and hire people in. On console, your staff is just this, right? You just have manager, assistant manager, head of youth development, head physio, chief scout, director of football, and your chairperson. And you're not really, the staff database is there, but you're only hiring for a few positions, right? On PC and recruitment, there are also these recruitment objectives. These are missing on console, so you don't have these kind of objectives. There's a few other things as well. So, for example, when you want to go to sell a player, let's just say we want to try and sell a player, you won't have the options of hiring an intermediary. If we try to do that on console here, and we go to our team, we try to sell someone, you'll see we can offer via transfer room, but we can't hire an intermediary. So that is something that's missing there. Equally, if we try to buy someone, or if we want to buy someone, we come into the player database, we don't have to go talk to their agent first, whereas on PC, well, we don't have to on PC, but it's recommended because you can get an idea of how much they want, what kind of thing they need, etc. So here, ask an agent about availability, and the agent becomes part of the process. One of the other differences is down here. We have the scouting range. We can change our scouting range. on PC. On console, we just don't have that option, although scouting does seem to be pretty much up with where PC is other than that now. One of the things missing from the console version, if you try to do a recruitment budget, is you'll notice that you can't ask your board on this screen, whereas on PC it is there. You can ask the board for some extra money. That doesn't mean you can't do it on console though. You have to come to this board screen and then ask for the increase in budget. Now weirdly on the console version with set pieces, and again maybe it's there but I can't find it, penalties. I don't know where penalties and penalty takers, oh it's there, right? We press this button and we can set them here. So it's hiding there in the set pieces. I mean, you'll notice things like these are all in a slightly different order. So you notice that the PC version is at the top here. It brings up the same screen. I don't know why these are in a slightly different order, and I don't know why that shows slightly different. But yeah, pretty much everything is the same here, except for this one thing here, which is team report priorities, which is part of the scouting, for scouting out the team for the next match. One extra thing also on PC that maybe I just can't find it on console is this whole supporters expectations. In fact, the expectations are slightly different on both versions. We go into performance, we have board and supporters here on each of the different elements. So you'll notice here on the console version we don't have the supporters showing there, we just have the board. Maybe that's a good thing, we don't have to worry about the supporters, but yeah, that's one more thing that's missing. And then the final thing is match day. So we're going to go into match day and I'll try and show you the difference, if hopefully the console version is working a bit better than it was last week. So we have here the dugout and then we're straight out onto the pitch. No press conferences or anything in the console version, by the way. Also, you will notice no team talks. So that's it. We're into the match. We can make our tactical adjustments up here. No shouts in either version, but also, yeah, no team talks on the match in the console version. The layout is pretty much the same otherwise. So here's the difference on PC. We get to address the team before the match. Now, the interesting thing is at halftime in the console version, I do get to address the players almost like I'm making a shout. I'm going to encourage them. That's it. And there we have it. That's the end of the match. We do get to address the team again at the end of the match, but we don't get a full list of options and they're out the other side of the game. Now, there is the one final thing that I wanted to test on the console version, which is whether we can rest players. So we should be able to do it like this. Select some players. Right click, training, rest players. So whoever told me that you can't rest players and that's a microtransaction, the only way to do it is to pay for microtransactions, I've just done it. That's how you do it. You go in, you right click, or you use the right click function and you send them to rest. And you can do that all here. So yeah, you can definitely rest the whole team on console version. And this is the thing that you don't actually get on PC. This is the kind of dilemmas you get. So Adam Smith doesn't seem to be buying into our methods. Do we want to talk to, how do we address it? We can talk to him or demote him. And we'll get all kinds of dilemmas like this throughout the season that are going to affect that squad dynamics that I showed you before. But we don't actually have this in the PC version. The PC version obviously has some other, player interaction stuff, but this is how we get it on console. So this is ever so slightly different. So we can just talk to him and you can see all these players gained buy-in as a result because they all support him. So you've got to make your decisions based on that. The other major difference between PC and console is on console you have a 30-year limit. It's to do with storage and hardware limitations, and I mean the hardware can handle it, but the hardware manufacturer's limitations. So yeah, that's why you can only do 30 seasons, 10 leagues, whatever. Anyway, hopefully you found that video. I'm sure I missed something out that is different. So if you have seen something else, feel free to leave it in the comment below. They are pretty close. You're going to get pretty close to a full experience on console. Well, pretty close to a good experience on console. I'm not going to say a full experience. If there's lots of stuff you don't really touch, like youth recruitment, training, etc., then the console version might be for you. You can plug in a keyboard and mouse into your Xbox or PlayStation and use that, just as you can plug a controller into your PC. So that doesn't really matter. The main difference are the ones that I've shown you here. A couple of things are slightly dumbed down. You get the difference in the dynamics and stuff like that. Hopefully that's been useful. If you want to see some more console videos, let me know. Otherwise, I will catch you guys next time. Ciao, ciao.